Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an exciting journey through British coinage history. Today, we're exploring one of the most iconic coins in circulation, the British 2 pence piece, a coin that has been jingling in pockets across the United Kingdom for decades. From its distinctive bronze appearance to its bold portcullis design, the 2 pence has witnessed royal transitions, economic changes, and decades of British history. But here's what makes this video special. We'll be uncovering 3 specific years that hold hidden treasures, rare varieties, and error coins that could be worth far more than their face value. Some of these coins could be sitting in your change right now, worth hundreds or even thousands of pounds. Whether you're a UK coin collector, have inherited British coins, or simply curious about what makes certain 2 pence pieces valuable, you're in the right place. So let's dive into the wonderful world of British 2 pence coins and discover what treasures might be hiding in your change. We're kicking off this journey with the 1979 2 pence coin, a piece that represents a fascinating period in British monetary history. The year 1979 was monumentous for Britain. It marked the election of Margaret Thatcher as the first female prime minister, ushering in an era of dramatic economic and social transformation. The 2 pence coin itself was still relatively young at this point, having been introduced just 8 years earlier in 1971 as part of Britain's decimalisation, which replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a decimal currency. This revolutionary change meant that ordinary Britons had to completely relearn their currency system, and coins like the 2 pence became symbols of modern Britain breaking from centuries of tradition. The 1979 2 pence circulated through a Britain facing economic challenges, industrial strikes, and the winter of discontent, making each surviving coin a tangible connection to one of the most pivotal years in modern British history. Let's examine the physical characteristics and design of this distinctive coin. The British 2 pence is immediately recognizable by its large size and bronze color, measuring 25.9 millimeters in diameter and weighing 7.12 grams. The coin is composed of copper-plated steel in later years, but the 1979 version was struck in bronze, 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, giving it that warm, rich appearance that tarnishes beautifully over time. The obverse features the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, known as the Arnold Machin effigy, showing Her Majesty wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The inscription reads Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D, followed by the date 1979, with DG standing for Dei Grazia, by the grace of God, Reg for Regina, Queen, and FD for Fidei Defensor, Defender of the Faith. The reverse displays the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, with the motto Ich Dien, I serve, on a ribbon below. The denomination, 2, and the word pence complete the reverse design. The edge is plain with no reading, and the coin has 7 sides forming an equilateral curve heptagon, making it easily distinguishable by touch, a thoughtful design feature for visually impaired users. The mintage figures for the 1979 2 pence tell an interesting story about circulation demand and collecting potential. The Royal Mint at Llantrisant in Wales produced 408,527,000 pieces for circulation in 1979. That's over 408 million coins entering the British economy. This massive production reflected the high demand for low-denomination coins in everyday commerce, from bus fares to newspaper purchases, from chip shop transactions to parking meters. Additionally, the Royal Mint produced 81,000 proof coins in special presentation sets for collectors, featuring mirror-like fields and frosted devices that showcase the design in stunning detail. While the circulation mintage seems enormous, making common worn examples worth only face value, the survival rate of high-grade uncirculated specimens is surprisingly low. Most 1979 2 pence coins saw heavy use throughout the 1980s and 1990s, accumulating wear, scratches, and environmental damage. Finding examples in true mint state condition with original bronze luster intact and no contact marks is far more challenging than the mintage numbers would suggest, creating genuine scarcity at the top end of the condition census. Condition and variety factors play crucial roles in determining the collectability and value of 1979 2 pence coins. The vast majority of survivors exhibit moderate to heavy circulation wear, showing flatness on the Queen's portrait details, particularly her hair and the tiara, and smoothing on the Prince of Wales' feathers on the reverse. Uncirculated examples should display full mint luster with a frosty or satiny appearance, sharp definition on all design elements, and minimal bag marks or contact marks from the minting and handling process. Bronze coins are particularly susceptible to environmental issues. Look for original surfaces without cleaning, which destroys value even on high-grade coins. Natural toning ranging from light golden brown to deep chocolate brown is desirable and indicates originality, while bright orange-red surfaces suggest either recent minting or improper cleaning. One of the most sought-after aspects for serious collectors is the new pence versus 2 pence legend. The 1979 coin reads new pence on the reverse, as all 2 pence coins did from 1971 until 1981, when the wording changed to 2 pence from 1982 onwards. This makes the new pence varieties collectively more interesting to collectors. Additionally, some 1979 coins exhibit die varieties, minor errors, or unusual striking characteristics that can increase value for variety specialists and error collectors. Market values for the 1979 2 pence vary dramatically based on condition, just as with any collectible coin. Standard circulated examples in average worn condition are worth face value, 2 pence, and are best spent or donated rather than hoarded. Lightly circulated examples in very fine to extremely fine condition might fetch 10 to 25 pence from dealers who supply beginner collectors filling albums. The market becomes interesting when you reach about uncirculated and uncirculated grades. An about uncirculated example with minimal wear and some remaining luster might sell for £1 to £3. True uncirculated examples in what British grading calls brilliant uncirculated, or BU condition typically command £5 to £15, depending on eye appeal and the presence of attractive original toning. Top-tier examples graded MS65 or higher by professional services like NGC or PeaceGS are genuinely scarce and can reach £30 to £100 or more, especially if they exhibit exceptional strike quality and eye appeal. The 1979 proof coins in their original Royal Mint packaging typically sell for £5 to £20, with perfect PR70 examples potentially reaching £50 to £100. Error coins or significant varieties can command substantial premiums. A dramatic off-center strike, wrong planchet error, or significant die break could sell for £50 to several £100 depending on the nature and eye appeal of the error. For collectors interested in British decimal coinage, the 1979 2 pence represents an accessible entry point into a fascinating series. This coin connects you to a specific moment in British history, showcases the elegant simplicity of British decimal design, and offers opportunities for both casual collectors and serious numismatists. If you're searching through British change, look for uncirculated examples with full original luster and no damage. These are worth setting aside for potential grading or sale. Check for any unusual characteristics like off-center strikes, die cracks, or wrong metal errors that occasionally appear. For those building comprehensive date collections, the 1979 makes an essential component of any new pence subset, as it represents the middle period before the legend change in 1982. Consider that bronze 2 pence coins from 1971 to 1991 differ compositionally from the copper-plated steel versions produced from 1992 onwards, making the Bronze era coins particularly interesting to metal composition collectors. Whether you inherit a jar of British coins, actively hunt through change, or purchase from dealers and auction houses, the 1979 2 pence offers history, beauty, and collecting satisfaction without requiring enormous financial investment. This is democratic numismatics at its finest, meaningful coins accessible to collectors of all ages and budgets, connecting us to Britain's transition from imperial measurements and old money to the decimal system we know today. Moving forward from 1979, let's explore the 1991 2 pence, a coin minted during a year of extraordinary global and national transformation that would reshape the modern world. The 1991 2 pence coin circulated through a Britain experiencing profound changes on multiple fronts. This was the year the Soviet Union collapsed, ending the Cold War that had defined global politics for nearly half a century. Closer to home, Britain was deeply involved in the Gulf War, with Prime Minister John Major navigating complex international alliances and domestic pressures. The British economy was struggling with recession, high interest rates were squeezing homeowners, and the nation was grappling with its relationship with an increasingly integrated European community. The Maastricht Treaty negotiations were underway, debates about monetary union intensified, and questions about British sovereignty dominated political discourse. Every 1991 2-pence coin that passed through hands at corner shops, supermarkets, and news agents was circulating through a society uncertain about its economic future, yet witnessing the birth of a new world order. These coins bought newspapers reporting the fall of the Berlin Wall's aftermath, purchased stamps for letters to soldiers in the Gulf, and made change in transactions throughout a Britain on the cusp of the modern era we know today. By 1991, the 2-pence had been in circulation for 2 decades, and the design had evolved slightly from the original 1971 introduction. Crucially, the 1991 coin still bears the new pence legend on the reverse, making it one of the very last years this terminology appeared, as the Royal Mint would transition to 2 pence the following year in 1992. This linguistic quirk makes the 1991 particularly interesting to collectors who focus on transitional years and design changes. The coin maintained the bronze composition of 97% copper with zinc and tin making up the remainder, giving it that characteristic warm color that distinguishes it from the copper-plated steel versions that would debut just 1 year later. The obverse continued to feature the Raphael Maklauf portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which had been introduced in 1985, replacing the Arnold Machin effigy seen on earlier coins. This third portrait shows a more mature queen wearing the royal diadem, a crown worn for her journey to and from the state opening of Parliament. The heptagonal shape, the Prince of Wales feathers reverse, and the plain edge remained consistent with earlier issues, maintaining the design integrity that made British decimal coins so recognizable and user-friendly. Production figures for the 1991 2-pence reveal interesting patterns about economic activity and collecting trends at the turn of the 1990s. The Royal Mint struck 88,896,000 circulation coins, significantly fewer than the massive 408 million produced in 1979, but still a substantial quantity, reflecting steady demand for low-denomination coinage. This reduced mintage compared to earlier years makes the 1990 one relatively scarcer than many other dates in the series, though it's far from rare in absolute terms. Additionally, the Royal Mint produced proof versions as part of annual proof sets for collectors, though exact proof mintages from this era are more modest than contemporary years, as British proof set collecting was less popular in the early 1990s compared to today. The lower circulation mintage works in collectors' favor. While 88 million sounds like a lot, remember that these coins entered heavy circulation during a recession when cash transactions still dominated retail, credit cards were less ubiquitous than today, and electronic payments were in their infancy. Most 1991 2-pence coins saw intensive use throughout the 1990s and 2000s before being gradually withdrawn as they wore down, or as the Royal Mint replaced bronze coins with copper-plated steel alternatives from 1992 onwards. The condition landscape for 1991 2-pence coins presents opportunities for astute collectors. Most surviving examples show considerable circulation where after 3 decades of potential use. Look for flatness on the Queen's portrait, particularly around her hair and the diadem details, and where on the Prince of Wales feathers and the word pence on the reverse. Bronze coins from this era are prone to developing attractive natural toning ranging from golden brown to deep chocolate, and original untuned examples with bright copper-red surfaces are increasingly scarce. Uncirculated specimens should exhibit complete mint bloom, sharp strikes across all design elements, and minimal contact marks from the production and bagging process. One fascinating aspect of 1991 coinage is that being the last full year before the composition change. These represent the final large-scale production of true bronze 2-pence coins with the new pence legend. This transitional significance adds collector interest beyond the raw numbers. Watch for minor varieties including die cracks, die chips, and striking anomalies that occasionally appear. The Royal Mint quality control was generally excellent, but interesting varieties do exist for specialists. Proof coins from 1991 should display perfect mirror fields, frosted devices, and flawless surfaces, with any imperfections or toning dramatically affecting value and desirability. Looking at market values, the 1991 2-pence offers accessible collecting opportunities across all budget levels. Circulated examples in typical worn condition remain worth face value, or perhaps 5 to 10 pence if you find a dealer purchasing bulk British decimal coinage for beginner sets. Lightly circulated coins in very fine to extremely fine condition might fetch 25 to 50 pence. About uncirculated examples with strong luster and minimal where command £1 to £3 depending on eye appeal. Brilliant uncirculated examples in BU grade typically sell for £3 to £10, with particularly nice examples featuring attractive toning or exceptional strike quality reaching £15 to £25. Professional grading is less common for British 2 pence than American coins, but high-grade examples certified as MS65 or better could command £30 to £75, especially with strong eye appeal and original surfaces. The 1991 proof coins in original Royal Mint packaging generally sell for £5 to £15, while perfect PR69 or PR70 examples might reach £25 to £50. Error coins present the most dramatic value potential. Significant striking errors, wrong planchet errors, or dramatic die breaks could sell for £50 to several £100 depending on the error's nature and visual appeal. The combination of being the last major year of new pence bronze production and the lower mintage compared to surrounding years gives the 1991 a slight premium over more common dates. For collectors building British decimal sets or focusing on 2 pence coinage, the 1991 occupies a special position as a transitional year coin. It represents the end of an era, the final year before both the legend changed to 2 pence and the composition changed to copper-plated steel, making it doubly significant for variety and type collectors. If you're fortunate enough to search through British change, 1991 2 pence coins are worth examining carefully for high-grade survivors that escaped heavy circulation. Look for coins with original mint luster, no cleaning or damage, and attractive natural toning that adds rather than detracts from eye appeal. Consider that bronze 2 pence coins are gradually disappearing from circulation as they wear out or are withdrawn, making uncirculated survivors increasingly scarce as time passes. The 1991 also represents excellent value compared to earlier key dates. You can acquire high-grade examples for modest sums while still owning a coin with genuine historical significance and transitional interest. Whether you're a British collector completing a date run, an international numismatist exploring UK decimals, or someone who inherited British coins and wants to understand their value, the 1991 2 pence deserves attention as more than just another common circulation coin. It's a witness to the end of the Cold War, the last gasp of traditional bronze composition, and a portal to understanding how British coinage evolved through the final decade of the 20th century. Moving forward from the dramatic changes of 1992, we arrive at our final coin in this journey, the 1996 2 pence, a coin that circulated through a Britain experiencing relative stability and optimism after years of economic turmoil. The year 1996 found Britain in a very different place compared to the crisis years of the early 1990s. The economy had recovered from recession, unemployment was falling, and the cool Britannia phenomenon was emerging as British pop culture, fashion, and creativity captured global attention. The Spice Girls dominated charts worldwide, Oasis and Blur battled in the Britpop wars, and British film and television enjoyed international success. Politically, John Major's Conservative government was in its final stretch, with Tony Blair's New Labour waiting in the wings for the 1997 election that would bring a new era of politics. The IRA ceasefire had brought hope for peace in Northern Ireland, though tensions remained. The BSE, mad cow disease crisis dominated agricultural news and raised food safety concerns across Europe. Princess Diana's marriage to Prince Charles had officially ended in divorce, marking another chapter in the royal family's tumultuous decade. Through all these developments, 2 pence coins like the 1996 passed through millions of hands daily, buying newspapers, feeding parking meters, purchasing sweets at corner shops, and facilitating the countless small transactions that make up everyday British life. Each 1996 2 pence carries with it the fingerprints of mid-1990s Britain, a nation looking forward with cautious optimism after weathering economic storms and social change. By 1996, the 2 pence coin had fully transitioned into its modern form, with all the changes introduced in 1992 now standard. The coin continued to feature copper-plated steel composition rather than the original bronze, making it magnetic and more cost-effective to produce as copper prices remained elevated. The 2 pence legend was now firmly established on the reverse, with the new pence terminology firmly relegated to history and the 1992 era coins. The obverse maintained the Raphael Maklauf portrait of Queen Elizabeth II that had been introduced in 1985, showing the mature monarch wearing the royal diadem, though this portrait was approaching the end of its run, as it would be replaced by the Ian Rank Broadley effigy in 1998. The reverse continued to display the badge of the Prince of Wales with its 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet and the ICH Dain motto, a design that had remained consistent since decimalization in 1971. The 7-sided heptagonal shape, the plain edge, and the 25.9mm diameter all remained unchanged, ensuring that the coin remained instantly recognizable and easy to distinguish from other denominations by touch alone. The 1996 2 pence represents the settled, standardized modern form of the denomination. No compositional experiments, no legend changes, just consistent production meeting the ongoing demands of the British economy. Mintage figures for the 1996 2 pence reflect steady, but unremarkable production typical of the mid-1990s economic environment. The Royal Mint struck 124,518,000 circulation coins, a moderate quantity that's neither remarkably high like some boom years nor dramatically low like recession periods. This places the 1996 roughly in the middle range of 2 pence mintages, making it neither particularly scarce nor especially common in absolute terms. The production quantity suggests steady economic activity and normal replacement of worn coins leaving circulation, without any special circumstances driving dramatically increased or decreased demand. The Royal Mint also produced proof versions as part of their annual proof sets for collectors, though exact proof mintages from mid-1990s years tend to be modest compared to earlier or later periods when proof set collecting enjoyed greater popularity among British numismatists. Unlike the 1992 with its dramatic new pence era, or the 1991 as the last full year of bronze production, the 1996 lacks any particularly noteworthy varieties or errors that have gained widespread collector attention. This makes it a straightforward date to collect. What you see is what you get, with value driven primarily by condition and eye appeal rather than variety hunting or error chasing. For collectors, this straightforwardness can actually be refreshing after navigating the complexities of earlier transitional years. Condition factors for 1996 2 pence coins follow predictable patterns for copper-plated steel coinage approaching 3 decades old. Most survivors in circulation show moderate to heavy wear, with the Queen's portrait details flattened, the Prince of Wales feathers worn smooth, and the legend letters showing erosion from years of handling. The copper plating on heavily circulated examples may show through to the underlying steel in spots, particularly on high points of the design, creating a slightly different appearance where the darker steel becomes visible. Uncirculated examples should display full mint luster with that characteristic bright, slightly metallic sheen of copper-plated steel that differs subtly from the warmer glow of solid bronze coins. Look for sharp strikes across all design elements, minimal contact marks or bag marks from the minting and handling process, and original surfaces without cleaning or environmental damage. Copper-plated steel coins can develop spotting or corrosion if exposed to moisture, so problem-free examples with clean surfaces command premiums. Natural toning on copper-plated coins tends toward darker browns and occasionally reddish hues, though toning patterns differ from solid bronze. Eye appeal matters significantly even for relatively common modern coins. A beautifully preserved 1996 2 pence with exceptional luster and clean surfaces will always find buyers more readily than a technically uncirculated but unattractive example covered in spots or contact marks. Market values for the 1996 2 pence remain modest across most grades, reflecting the coin's status as a standard circulation issue without dramatic rarities or errors driving collector premiums. Circulated examples in typical worn condition are worth face value, 2 pence, and spending them or donating them makes more sense than hoarding bulk quantities. Lightly circulated coins in very fine to extremely fine condition might fetch 10 to 25 pence from dealers supplying beginners completing date sets and albums. About uncirculated examples with minimal wear and some remaining luster command 50 pence to £2 depending on eye appeal. Brilliant uncirculated specimens in BU grade typically sell for £2 to £6, with particularly attractive examples featuring exceptional luster or strike quality reaching 8 pounds to 12 pounds. Professional grading services like NGC or PeaceGS see relatively few modern British 2 pence coins submitted given the modest values involved, but exceptionally high-grade examples certified as MS66 or MS67 might command 20 pounds to 40 pounds from registry set collectors or condition purists. The 1996 proof coins in original Royal Mint packaging generally sell for 3 pounds to 8 pounds, while perfect PR69 or PR70 examples might reach 12 pounds to 25 pounds. Error coins offer the only real value spikes. Any significant striking anomalies like dramatic off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, or major die breaks could sell for 30 pounds to several hundred pounds depending on the error's drama and visual appeal, though such errors on 1996 2 pence are quite scarce. Overall, the 1996 represents an affordable, accessible collecting opportunity rather than a significant investment proposition. As we conclude our journey through these 4 remarkable years of British 2 pence coins, from the massive production and economic turbulence of 1979 through the transitional significance of 1991 as the last major year of Bronze New Pence coinage, past the revolutionary changes of 1992 with its composition shift and legendary error variety, and finally to the settled stability of 1996, we've traveled through nearly 2 decades of British social, economic, and political history told through small copper-colored coins. Each date reflects its era. The 1979 capturing post-decimalization establishment and pre-Thatcher Britain. The 1991 marking the end of multiple eras as the Cold War ended and bronze gave way to steel. The 1992 representing fundamental change and offering treasure hunt excitement with its error potential. And the 1996 showing modern standardized production in a more stable economic environment. For collectors, these 4 dates offer something for every interest and budget level. The 1979 provides affordable entry into Bronze-era coinage. The 1991 appeals to transition specialists. The 1992 excites error hunters dreaming of finding that new pence variety. And the 1996 represents straightforward modern collecting without complications. Whether you're building a comprehensive British decimal collection, focusing specifically on 2 pence denominations, hunting for varieties and errors, or simply appreciating coins as historical artifacts connecting us to recent decades, these 4 years demonstrate why British 2 pence coins deserve attention and respect. They may seem humble, just 2 pence pieces handled by millions without thought, but to numismatists who look closer, they reveal stories of economic policy, technological change, artistic design, and social history. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of British 2 pence coinage from 1979 through 1996. Remember to check your change carefully, examine legends and dates closely, and never underestimate what treasures might be hiding in your pocket. Happy collecting, and may you find that elusive 1992 new pence error.